I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:47 due to some technical internet issues we had. But Tiffany resolved our printing problems, so we're ready to go. Any announcements or public input? All right. Discussion and board input on the budget for next year.
Wonderful, thank you very much. We, as have done in the past, began working on this budget as well as the other 7 in the SAU late summer. We work in the SAU budget a little earlier than that, but we tackled the district budgets starting in August, and work through the fall. There are a series of meetings that take place. I know Mr. French works with his staff here at the school to put together a student-based budget. Everything is pretty much calculated through the eyes of what are student needs, and that gets circulated over to the SAU office where Molly O'Keefe, Michelle Larson, and Brandon meet a few times to kind of work through it, whittle it down, and then I'm brought into the discussion to try and whittle it down even more or add whatever the needs are. We ask a lot of questions. We really poke at it. And we have it in a place now where we are ready to bring it forth to the board. So I'd ask Molly maybe to fill in some of the gaps or talk a little bit about the process and the drivers, and then perhaps have Mr. French kind of give an overview of what's in this budget for you. So kind of a recap of what we did last month, really to dig in so that you can start sharpening your pencils and we can answer any questions.
Okay. Sure. So in the pack, what I did is I put together just a screenshot of the warrant from last year. So had you had more than one warrant, if you had a CBA or something like that, you have to add those all together to get to your current year budget because all the articles get zipped out. So you guys only had one article, so it's easy to compare to. So it is looking like an 8.17% increase. And so then on page 2, what I did is I sorted it by category and sorted it highest to lowest for you. So you'll see the biggest increases relate to benefits, as you probably heard in the joint board meeting that the GMR was 15.6%, I believe it was. A big part of the regular education is driven by the active CBA that you have. And then really everything else is less. Now food service, we are seeing some increases as you go to the grocery store. I'm sure you see that every day. And then in the line by line, it shows at a greater level of detail. So Brandon, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to add.
No, I think you said it well, that the CBA, the health insurance, and then, like Molly said, the inflation costs, not only with food, but things like electric and gas and just supplies, with deliveries and copy paper, that type of thing had really skyrocketed. So we worked really hard in this budget with that understanding and trying to not add anything where we didn't feel like we needed to add, and in the places we did add, we felt that there was a need for that. So I think we've done the best we could, or the best we can up to this point, with those challenges that we were facing, knowing that that's what it was going to look like.
And Brandon was very frugal, and even things as the technology line, Tiffany, when we met, I don't think you have any big asks, but in the event something comes up, we know we have the deferred revenue money that
Yes.
we have.
Yep.
So we didn't ask for anything in the budget for that.
Yeah, I think our tech line's at $1.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, those areas where we knew we had the benefit of that account that we made sure that was reflected in this budget as well.
And I also have a position report that I've done for all the districts that formats the ADS report much easier to read. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulty, I can't print it. I thought I handed it out in the last meeting, but I might not have. But what it does is it takes the individual lines, so you'd see on the first line of the budget where it says salaries of teachers, it lists every single person that's in that so you can see the names associated with the dollar value. And I'm happy to send this to you. Actually, I have internet now, so I can.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, and we didn't post that online because while the CBA salaries are public, it will include people not in a CBA, and so those salaries aren't necessarily guaranteed. So I just actually not publicly share.
Yeah, those will still be protected under 91A.
So I'll send that to you.
One of the highlights too is the first two lines of the major changes actually make up 82% of the increase in this year's budget to the tune of $212,126. The total of all other increases in the overall budget is $43,944. So I think it's pretty elementary to figure out where the increases are coming from. It's the increase in the GMR for the health insurance as well as staff increases under the collective bargaining agreement. So, anything else? There's nothing else. There's no other wants in there or no wants in there that you've added.
No positions added. Yeah, I mean, again, I think we've done a really nice job knowing the challenges that we're facing.
This is mainly because I forget, but how come you didn't have anything for the literacy program last year? You're 1,500 and 21, 22, or no, it's this year. Yeah, this year.
Which page are you on in?
The regular education, the first one.
Thank you.
The 200,000% increase.
General teaching supplies literacy program.
Yeah, I have a different. Oh, here we go. Didn't we have that last year?
Anyway, so
I don't know why we didn't have that.
Kristen wasn't on board yet. Perhaps she's
When the original budget was made,
yeah.
her position was not a definite. That's
Okay.
why. Yep. Thank you.
So we gave her a 200,000% increase in that line. Round up.
yeah, so I'm going to go from 1 to 2,000.
Yeah.
I know Brandon did mention there's no new positions over what we currently have today. The default, which I can't access right now due to technical difficulties, it will show a little bit of, because the default has to start with the budget, so there are some differences of what we budgeted for this year versus who's actually here this year. And so that would be reflected in the difference between the default and the proposed.
Brayden, I have a question. I see an increase for replacement of furniture and fixtures. Looks like maybe we're doing a little project. I just wanted to see what that was.
Are you talking
Under special ed?
50737?
Under regular education.
Yeah, so that was the request for one of our first grade teachers to have tables in her classroom instead of single desks.
Okay. And then is there anything in the maintenance line that's addressing anything from the capital needs project already going forward? Like I don't know where we are with that document.
It's worked, it's been filled in up to this point, but there's nothing in here from that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Melissa, can I point out, Ms. Mills has joined us during the public input session, so I don't know if she
Oh,
wanted to.
Yes, if you do want to provide any public. Just- Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just let us know we're open for another
Just didn't want to leave you out, Abby.
20 minutes or so. Do you have a sense of kindergarten enrollment numbers for next year?
Right now, we're currently at 12.
Okay.
That we know 100% are going to be here.
Okay.
Last year at this time, I think we were at 13.
Okay.
We have 20. We have a new student starting on Monday, so I think we'll be at 22 kindergartners currently this year.
Okay, so we'll get.
We're expecting,
20-ish.
yeah.
Where were we pacing this time last year? Like we have 12 right now.
Yeah,
Is
we
that-
were around 13. I think it was 13 we had at this point last
So
year.
we're pacing on the same.
Yeah. And then I'll just add in there too, 2 years ago, we were at like 16 in May and then 30 in August, right? So it's so hard to predict what it's going to look like.
Yeah. So based on the last year's numbers, looking at FY24, we're going to need the same amount of teachers.
Based on our projection of kindergartners, yes.
Yeah.
The other thing I forgot to mention is all increases are based off the CBA for those that are in the collective bargaining agreement. Anybody not in a CBA has a budget of a 3% increase in this budget.
A budgeted.
A budgeted 3%
Okay.
increase.
And is that you that decides that final number?
For what?
The people not in the CBA?
It's
So any increases that we budget, it's be the pool of 3% and then based on performance.
Okay,
The principal would award based on performance, so.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I really don't have anything else. I think Brandon, you hit on the electricity, the natural gas, supplies, food costs, and then everything that we're contracted into, and then the GMR. I think this budget looks pretty good.
For what you're facing.
Under the maintenance, under general supplies, what does that cover? Is that just increasing costs of materials?
what line is that? Just so
It's under 2620. Out of 610.
that's the paper towels, toilet paper.
Okay, so it is just,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we took a look at what we actually spent last year, which is the first column,
Yep.
and you'll see that's higher than budgeted, so we were adjusting the budget accordingly due to increasing costs.
It's insane, right? So you don't look at your own personal budget this way. We're just toilet paper now.
Yeah.
How many rolls do you buy?
By the roll, of course. I'd like the half roll, please.
Boy, gas and electricity too.
It's huge. And if that's even a stable,
You're right, I know.
we haven't even hit snow yet. The cold temperatures of January and
I don't know
February.
if it's gonna snow.
The emails about with Ted Lloyd, is that something we should discuss now? No? Okay.
It's on the agenda, superintendent's
Next week.
report for next Wednesday,
Okay.
as is the FY24 estimated adequacy
Okay.
of funds.
I was just.
And you said you don't have the default number.
Do, but
Did you share it with me electronically, do you think?
I might have.
Because you're on there now, right?
Yeah, but I can't get any shared drives, and it's on a shared drive.
Let's see if you share.
But unless I sent it.
I mean, I have a number and a difference.
Oh, yes, Tiffany and I talked about it yesterday, so I wouldn't have.
Oh, that's right.
But I know that it, could go
Which one?
down.
Oh, it was $115,000 difference.
That's right.
So it was $115,000 lower than the proposed. Unfortunately, I don't have a mix setup. Let me see if I sent it to Michelle or David.
But it's 115
It
less
was
than the
150.
proposed, right?
Yeah, it was
389.
115 less than proposed, and Tiffany and I had walked through what made that up yesterday or the day before.
I think it was yesterday.
I wish I could get to the shared drive right now.
So the default would be 3274 739. And
Yeah.
because it's not something that we control that more, per se, we definitely can have that prepared for you for Wednesday next week. Part of the maybe as part of our financial report.
Sure. Yep. And I can email it out as soon as I can access it. So just to remind everyone, for the default, you start with the current year budget, and then you add or subtract. You add any mandatory expenses, so things like the CBA requirements, the SAU assessment, health insurance, and then things that can't go in it are increases like transportation. So even though we have a contract with First Student, that contract didn't go before the taxpayers in an independent article. So we entered that contract with First Student, so you can't include that in the default. Special ed is mandatory, so that's included. The special ed transportation is included because that's mandatory. One-time expenses, for example, the phone project that we did last year, that was a one-time expense that came out. I can't remember if East Kingston was part of that or not. No, you weren't. Okay, it was other districts. And so that's how we arrive. And then any new positions, so any positions where we'd be increasing time or increasing the position, budget to budget. So not who's in the building today, but what did we budget for last year. So for example, the special ed's kind of a bad example, but we had in the budget 1.5 positions. Now we're at 2.4. You don't go off of who you have today, it's off of who was in the budget before.
So what would happen to the bus?
So the bus we would have to find other ways to pay for. We'd have to dig deep with Brandon. As explained to Tiffany, we typically start to look at things that have the least impact on students, so we would look at more of the facilities and maintenance side.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got
And I will email it to you as soon as I can. Actually, you know what I could do is I could get on the internet and pull it down from the Department of Revenue site.
Is that the master step, or is that going to
Mr. B.
Mr. B?
Yeah.
So he's gonna do it now.
He's
He's still
that
Oh.
person, yeah.
Okay.
I'll find
So
something
that
else
was
after.
after. Student.
So default number. What we had in there is 3,274,974. And unfortunately, it doesn't go into the line by line, but it goes by sections. And most of it is due to the active CBA, required SAU assessment, mandatory special ed, again, CBA or services required by an IEP, special ed transportation, and active CBA. And part of the delta I know is the number of positions that we have budgeted versus what we have today in the 24, but that would be on the shared drive that I can't see.
Alright. We're good.
Awesome.
I think the
Thank you.
proposed budget addresses the needs for students.
We go into non-public.
Yes.
2 items.
Under, I'll make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32A.
C.
C? And C?
Yes.
No, by A and C.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Did you need to stay for part of it?
No, I can speak to the grid.
Okay.
That's fine. Any objection to Alex remaining?
No, that's fine.
To don't speak to adults at all, any specific person, so thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Abby.
Thanks for coming.
Hi, Abby, thanks.
Do you want to shut this off?
No, anyone has any questions?
Alright, it's 6:58, we're back in public. Does anyone have anything else before we adjourn?
Nope.
Nope. Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.